Oof, my makeup is looking amazing. Oh, the lashes are just popping. Anyway, hey loves, welcome to my YouTube channel. Yay! Guys, welcome, you know, even to me, like Baba, finally welcome, and you finally did it. I'm proud of you. You know, I'm proud of you. I've been telling my self-doubt, I've been telling my anxiety, like, once I decide to go through with this YouTube channel, Steez, it's over for you. And guess what? Let me breathe. So just a quick overview as to why I decided to finally start this channel, you know, and to finally work on my first video. I was diagnosed with clinical depression in March. Yeah. Like, when I was told by my psychiatrist, I'm like, a new doctor, like, anyway, thanks for making it official. I feel like when you're depressed, you just know, especially when it's like consecutively, like, you know, it's like a consistent feeling that's just with you for years and years and years, you know. So when I was diagnosed with clinical depression, I wasn't necessarily surprised. And I thought, you know what, I'll take it like a champ, I'll take the meds, I'll be fine, I'll deal with it. My son is so loud. Why does he have to be this rude? Anyway. So yeah, I just thought, you know what, I'll do the things, take my meds, I'll be fine, right? I'll be better and I'll be in a better space. And this means that my marriage, you know, my relationships, my career, everything will be in a much better space because now I know what the root of my mental breakdown, of my toxic and abusive behavior, what it was, you know, what it is. And I was also going to therapy. I was excited. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm finally gonna fix myself. Woo-hee! Like, I'm gonna be on meds and I'm just gonna feel better. And I had a mental breakdown in January. It was a scary place to be, you know. Nas Barkley lied. He lied. There's nothing pleasant about that place. There isn't. Anyway, so yeah, it was scary, had the worst panic attack, felt like I was dying. And while feeling these feelings, I was also contemplating suicide. And the only reason at the time that I didn't go through with that act was because my son was right in front of me. And I looked at him and I was like, okay, first of all, I don't think I want to go through with this while he's here. I don't want to traumatize him, but at the same time, I was just like, I don't want him to grow up with the knowledge that he wasn't special enough for me to decide to stick around, you know what I mean? And I decided to do it in front of him. Like, I didn't want that trauma for him. But apart from that, not much was, you know, convincing me to leave. And I called my therapist on that day, booked an emergency appointment with her, like, yo, my girl, Aniko, right? All these feelings are happening. I can't silence my mind anymore. I'm struggling, like, I'm struggling. I don't know what to do. I'm struggling. I can't even breathe, you know? And she was like, yo, I think you need to be admitted into a psychiatric clinic. Now, I can do that for you now, or you can go back home, think about it, let me know when you're ready, because obviously there's a whole lot of admin that goes into, you know, wanting to be in a facility for, what, 14 days or so? I think she said 14 now. Was it 2 weeks or 3 weeks? I don't remember, but yeah, it was going to be a long stay. And I was like, you know what, give me time, let me think this through. She's like, okay, while you're thinking this through, avoid alcohol, you know, because your dependence on this substance is also aggravating how you're feeling right now. You have an unhealthy relationship with this thing, you're bordering on being an alcoholic. You need to chill a bit on it, you know, because it might also just encourage you to want to, you know, kill yourself. So I was like, okay. Eventually admitted myself into a behavioral clinic, got the meds, went back home, started taking the meds, felt better. It was also a combination of antidepressants and just medication for anxiety. So I was on top of the world. I felt invincible. You know, as soon as I started the meds and they started sort of kicking in, I was happy. I felt lighter. I felt better. I was hyper. I was always just energetic, for no reason, right? Like it was a great space to be, and you know, I felt a lot of relief because I hadn't felt that way in so long. Little did I know that was an issue. I went to my psychiatrist around May, and I'm telling her, yo, doctor, like, yo, the meds you gave me are doing the things. Like, I'm energetic, I'm more optimistic, I'm determined to complete things, you know, that I've started. I wanna do so many big things, you know, like I wanna do this, I wanna do that, all in a short space of time. I'm just always in a great mood, and my libido, dog, like, hey, my sex drive is on 100, like, that's like every day, like, that's like every day, like, that was me, and which was true, because naked that's like every day, you know. My goodness, I just had a flashback. Sorry, I had a flashback. Very inappropriate. But yeah, like, yo, my sex drive is just shocking me. It's shocking my husband. It's shocking our entire system. You know, like, wow, these meds are great. Thank you, doctor. And the look she gave me, like, okay, Babi, I'm gonna need you to fill in this form. Like, why though? Why do I need to fill in this form? She's like, because I think you might have bipolar too. And yeah, that was, I did not sign up for that. I remember as soon as she told me, I struggled to breathe for a bit. I'm like, what the f*** does that mean? Like, am I a certified crazy person now? Like, because also to me, as enlightened as I'd like to believe I am, I mean, I do still have my biases. And what being diagnosed with this condition, with this illness, meant was that I'd have to do a lot of unlearning. I'd have to do even more enlightenment. I'd have to, you know, reevaluate my biases about mental illness, because I come from an environment where mental illness, any type of mental illness, apart from anxiety, apart from depression, which are things you can get away with now because they're romanticized, but anything above that, anything more than that, is literally considered insanity. Like, oh, she's schizophrenic, you know, oh, she has bipolar, you know. Even the conversations that happen online is like, I love bipolar, or bipolar, you know, just the stigma around it. And I just wasn't ready to accept the diagnosis because of the prejudice I anticipated from the people around me, you know, the judgment. I was terrified of people feeling that they needed to treat me differently because I have this condition. It was a lot to take in, but more, I think also just from a self-acceptance point of view, I didn't know how I'd be able to continue living my life, knowing that, okay, I have bipolar, you know. And it was difficult. And I decided to start this channel because I was just like, you know, I wish there were many more avenues, platforms of people who look like me, you know, who have this condition, who have this illness, you know, because then I wouldn't feel so alone, you know. I wouldn't feel like I need to understand this all by myself, you know. Yeah, the hardest part has been informing my family, you know, my immediate family about, this includes my husband, about my condition. because, as I've mentioned, like the existing biases people have around severe cases of mental illness is a hard pill to swallow. I think for my husband, it was easier to actually share this information with him because he's bore the brunt of it, you know, for 5 years. Just parts of my behavior that were inexplicable, parts of my reaction, you know, that were just confusing, were very damaging to him emotionally and psychologically, you know. I think for him it was a relief to finally be able to put a name or attach my behavior to a thing. And then, because then it wasn't just a matter of she was wilding out for the sake of wilding out, you know, just she, you know, because she's crazy or she's just an angry person, you know. There was an underlying issue there, and it was a relief because now that we knew what it was, now that we could put a name to it, I could actually treat it, you know, and become a better version of myself. And then I informed my mom, and she wasn't surprised, which surprised me because it's like, yo, I just said Ginali bipolar, woman, Ginali bipolar. She's like, yeah, they knew. Like, I kind of knew something was wrong with you. Like, what do you mean something was wrong with me? Like, yo, I call you my special child for a reason. I mean, I raised you, you know. I could tell there were certain things about your entire demeanor that were off. Like, oh, okay. With some of the people I shared the information with, you know, that look of pity that you get, you know, like, yo, skepsid, you know, like, you can't explain it, but and someone feels sorry for you. And I didn't want people to feel sorry for me, you know. If anything, the reason why I shared the information that I shared with them is because I was hoping that they'd be more empathetic in general, like not just to me, but to people who suffer from mental illness in general. And yeah, that's been my journey with bipolar. It hasn't been easy at all. The biggest part of it has been accepting my bipolarity, you know. And once I'd gotten over it, once I'd gotten over the initial shock and disappointment and anger and like it was a lot. Once I'd gotten over those emotions and those feelings, I started to embrace it. I accepted that I have to kind of coexist with it, you know what I mean? And it's a great thing that it's a good thing that I decided to accept it, because I feel like the more resistant I would have been, I currently wouldn't be in the position that I am now, which is, you know, just a place of happiness and feeling lighter and just feeling like I can take over the world, you know. I would have refused to take my meds, so I'd still probably be stuck in the same slump that I was prior to knowing what was wrong with me. I don't want to say what was wrong with me, you know. But the thing with mental illness is, like any other ailment you suffer from, you know, be it a tummy ache, be it a headache, you know, any type of illness you have, in order to feel better, you need to treat it. And I don't get why people consider any mental illness any different from any ailment that your body may be suffering from at that point in time. It's essentially the same thing, you know. If you don't treat it, if you don't, you know, take the necessary steps to healing and to recovery, then, you know, that particular area is gonna deteriorate and deteriorate and deteriorate, right? I think when I finally got to a point of self-acceptance, I just didn't give a fuck what anyone else would say. And it's taken this long to put myself out there now, because I've gotten to a point where I really couldn't be concerned. I really could not be bothered about what the next person is going to say. And I'm in such a great place right now, which is why it's also very easy for me to be this comfortable divulging the fact that, you'll have a mental illness that I'm working on treating, you know, a mental illness that may or may not be permanent. We're still not sure, you know, because for the most part, bipolar is like a lifetime thing, you know. But on the other side, and from, you know, by me saying on the other side, there was, you know, there's like a border, and there was Babalo. Before finding out, there was Babalo living with bipolar and being unaware, totally oblivious to the fact that she has bipolar. And then there's Babalo, who has bipolar and is aware that she has bipolar and is taking the necessary steps to be better. The most liberating thing about this phase of my life is the fact that, for the most part, I don't remember the last time I felt so in control of my reaction, so in control of my emotions, so in control of my behavior, you know, so in control of the things I engage in, the energies I engage in, you know. It's liberating. It's liberating because for years, it felt like my emotions were like just pulling me along, you know, like, ooh, we're gonna be angry right now. Okay, I'm angry, you know, like there was not even a negotiation like, guys, are we sure you want to be angry right now at this particular incident? Like, it doesn't seem that deep, you know. Let's take time to kind of reevaluate how we should deal with this situation going forward. I don't think it warrants this kind of reaction, you know. But now it's just like, is it really worth my energy engaging in this particular conversation with this particular person? Nah. You know. And now I get to choose, you know. Now I get to choose. Look at me, guys. Look at my skin, you know. Look at me. I've never glowed this much. Like, I'm flipping beautiful. I'm flipping amazing. And the mere fact that I'm actually able to compliment myself in itself is a shocker. It's a shocker. But I'm beautiful, you know. And now it's not just beautiful on the outside, but I'm beautiful on the inside as well, gradually. Also, because it's a journey, it's not like instantaneous, like, hey, I'm completely better now. I still have a lot of to get through, you know, to get over. But for the most part, I mean, you know, I'm enjoying being in the skin, you know, being in this space, you know. I adore myself now. I love myself. I'm very protective, like fiercely protective of myself, you know. I support myself. I hype myself up, you know. I encourage myself. I'm there for me, you know. I am there for me, which is something that I have never managed to do, you know. I'm there for me. So yes, that's what I wanted to share for my first video. And it will hopefully help you understand why this was important for me to do. Because I want a Ntabiseng, you know, I want a Mpumelelo, I want a Ndibuo, I want a Kensani to be able to say, yo, it's okay. Kinali didings, you know. Kinali didings, haki didings. I am not this thing. I have this thing, and this thing is manageable, and there's nothing wrong with me having it, you know. Like, you're not gonna live a half life, you know, because you have this thing and you have a safe space now without feeling like people treat you differently in society, like they treat you as a separate entity, separate being from society because you have this thing and it's a dirty thing to have, and ew, you know. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want that to stop. But I also, this isn't just for people who suffer from mental illness. This is also for people who are open and keen on understanding, you know, and being empathetic to us who have a mental illness. You know, let's break the cycle. Let's kick the cycle's ass. Anyway, I hope this was insightful. I hope it makes certain people in my past who are watching understand why I behaved the way I did. I have started communicating with people who did matter to me at some point to apologize for how I handled things in the past, because now I really do understand that although my feelings may have been valid, how I went about addressing them, how I went about addressing them wasn't, you know. And I'm starting to really acknowledge how hurtful my behavior in the past was. And yeah, you know, so maybe it'll make some people understand, maybe it will affirm some of the suspicions other people had, like, yeah, Bennu, you crazy. But yo, like I said, I could not give two flying f***s. And that's on period. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I hope to see you again at the next segment. I hope to see you again next time. And I will have a wig on. I just didn't feel like the admin today of styling and gluing and baby hair and gel and whoa, nerd. Please don't forget to subscribe. Right? Hit like, subscribe, engage, comment, share your feedback with me. I'd love to hear it. Deuces.